Good afternoon, lace jumping. I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd. Welcome back to Skies of Arcadia, where last time we rescued Captain Dad and Fina as well, and then immediately brought them back to Pirate Island, the one location that Valor knows we all live because it's where they attacked and kidnapped us from last week. But the game's never going to bring that up again, so neither am I. And much more importantly, yes, I think this is the point where the game actually truly begins. Because for the very first time, we've got ourselves a full party of 4, though, okay, you may immediately notice the, small issue we're going to need to deal with here, which is, Fina is only level 1, which, you know, makes sense. She's supposed to be completely inexperienced and new to the world and whatnot, but, yes, that does mean she's going to need a tiny bit of training before she's ready to contribute much to the team, but okay, you may notice, despite the fact she's only level 1, her will stat is already almost as high as Drachma's and not too far behind Vi's. So, yes indeed, this is what Fina is all about. However, that comes at a cost. Obviously, her attack, her defense, all her other stats, they are not so great. Fina is very fragile indeed. Basically, she's kind of like the opposite of Drachma. So yes indeed, if we want Fina to, you know, get into fighting shape and whatnot, we need to get out into the world and get involved in a few fights. Though, okay, before we leave our lovely home village once again, one, I need to, you know, check in with the kids who, it must be said, did a very good job of rebuilding the entire town while we were away. Vi's, we took care of the island real good while you were gone. Aren't you proud of us? We did almost all of this by ourselves. Although possibly Jimmy may be somewhat exaggerated given, yes, if you speak to Alan, he does confirm that Vi's mum also helped do a fair bit of the work. Anyway, back downstairs because yes, we need to be keeping our focus today on our brand new party member, Fina. And that does start off in a rather peculiar way. And that is, yes, the moment you step into the underground area, there's a sudden chirp. And Fina realises that Cupel's trying to tell her something. And it would appear that yes indeed, Cupel's telling me that somewhere around this bit of the world, there's a cham. And what's that? A small shard of moonstone that fell and shattered when they hit the ground. Cupel eats them as food. And wow, I didn't know anything could eat moonstones, Ica. They're cocking moonstones. We do literally everything with them. In fact, I'm pretty sure that moonstones get mixed in with, like, you know, juices and whatnot in order to make the equivalent of booze in this universe. Like, how many times there is nothing the moon doesn't cocking do? The problem being, just like the moonfish, yes, these chams are completely invisible. So instead, Cupel lets you know with audio cues. And here we go, when you are right on top of one, you get a small symbol appearing, and there we go, we've received a cham. And the reason that matters is because, yes, Cupel is not just, you know, a cute pet. Cupel is in fact Fina's weapon, the only weapon she can use in the entire cocking game. And hilariously, Cupel's actually a pretty bloody good weapon. Like, you know, attack 58, chance to hit 120, that makes it, yes, stronger than Drachma's bloody hook, and matching the power of the assassin blade, but yes, there's one small, slight issue with that. In this game, the amount of damage you do in terms of physical attacks is, yes, a function of two things. You simply take the attack rating of your weapon, say the 58 the Cupel's got, and add it to your character's power stat. And Fina's power stat is catastrophically awful, so yes, Cupel is never going to be that effective as a physical weapon, but you may as well gather chams, feed him, and make it as strong as possible because, honestly, there's no reason not to. So there we go, feed cham number 1 to Cupel, and on this occasion, he is not evolved in the slightest. We're going to need more chams yet. And meanwhile, deep underground, yes indeed, if my plan was to sneak away without my parents realising, oh no, they're cocking onto me, though. Right, before we go, you can see over there, yes, one moonfish I could have got earlier. I just kind of, yes, forgot about that one. Still no harm done, just grab you with whatever it is we use to grab moonfish. I'm honestly still not sure. And with that done, yes indeed, time for a quick chat with my mum and dad. And what's up, Vise? You're looking uncharacteristically grim. And Dad, actually, there's something I have to tell you. Yes, indeed. I think my dad already bloody knows. I remember when I was your age, the feeling that I had to get away from my own island and see the rest of the world. But when a man decides to step out onto his own path, he doesn't need to ask his parents' permission. From now on, you're my equal son, a man who lives by the skies. There is nothing more honourable than that. So okay, as it turns out, my daddy's very supportive about my decision to just go on this wacky moon crystal quest. Though, okay, seriously, no one's actually checked in with Drachma whether he's okay with this, but we're just going to assume he is, alright? And my mother was also, yes, very much aware this moment was coming sooner or later, so it's just rather delightful that their final moments are them just basically saying, yeah, we knew you were going to do this, we're proud of you, go have fun, damn it. And okay, with our goodbyes said, that just leaves one thing, which is, we don't actually know where any of the moon crystals are, so if we're lucky, maybe Fina's got some ideas, and, according to ancient legends, there should be one crystal hidden in the lands under each of the moons. The closest ones from here are going to be, yes, the yellow moon of Valois and the red moon of Nazra. So, naturally, yes, going back into Valois right now, probably a bad idea. Maybe let those guys chill out a bit before we think about that, and instead, yes indeed, Nazra, we've done a tiny bit of business with them, helping out one of their merchants previously, so heading east from here and seeing what we can do, that's gonna be the best starting point, and yes indeed, this is why this is the moment where the game starts to open up a bit, because up to this point, we've been very limited in where we can go. Basically, we can only go where the game wants us to, but now the exploration truly begins, because yes indeed, previously there were all sorts of barriers in our way, like say that gigantic stone reef we saw. However, all of a sudden, now we've got a harpoon cannon, we can just basically drill straight through it and head on our merry way. So alright, that's our plan then. We need to head east to Nazra and get hold of a red moon crystal. Magnificent, and okay, this is the first time he's spoken in quite some time, but apparently Drachma's on board. Beautiful. Okay, here we go out into the world, and yes indeed, this nice low-level area is probably an excellent opportunity to get Fina leveled up a bit, and yes indeed, just because we've got this harpoon cannon, it doesn't mean we can go through everything. So yeah, this bank of clouds here, what the game calls an air rift, we still can't go through that. We're going to have to wait till later in the game before we can do anything about that noise. But if we just, follow the air rift around in this direction towards, hang on, it should be beautiful. There's Shrine Island, right there. You can see all of a sudden, we've got ourselves a beautiful, lovely, rocky reef right here, which is magnificent. And on top of that, we've got some enemies, which is even better because, yes, basically, at this moment in time, probably the best thing we could do is just tell Fina to chill out, do nothing, and guard while we take care of all this nonsense. Okay, nice quick victory because, we are now our high level, enemies in this area are nice and low level, so we only get 15 experience, which, for us, is basically nothing. But for Fina, that's straight up to cocking level 3. And immediately, yes, you can see there, her will is going up bloody fast. Like, it's not going to take her long to get really, really cocky good at magic. And on top of that, yes, speak to the devil, we're starting to learn the electrical spells. And this here is what I mean, by the way, when I say yes, now the time to start exploring has begun, because all of a sudden, there are tiny areas where, yes, if you're paying attention, you could get into. So, right now, if I just turn my attention to the map, you'll notice, yes, this is where we started. Then we've got Pirate Island here, and then that tunnel we went through to get to Sailor's Island. That's the route we've been on so far. Then, of course, we've got, Valois up here, and the Nazran City we took the merchant to over in this direction. Now, what we're actually trying to do is, yes, get through this rock reef here to visit the lovely Nazran cities that are located down in this bit of the world. However, if you take a right, right at Shrine Island into this tiny area, this is actually a tiny self-contained bit of the map that otherwise you would completely miss out on, because there's actually an air rift going all the way around this area. So, okay. We're just going to take a right here. We can now go straight through this, and as a result of that, there is going to be, there's definitely some discoveries around here. I'm trying to remember where they are precisely. There's definitely going to be some. Just watch the compass as we're moseying along. There's a whole bunch of islands, so, okay, there's going to be something somewhere, and there we flipping go. Sky coral attaching themselves to moonstone boulders and growing to form these reefs. So they flourish only in a few very specific conditions and can take over 200 years to grow. And yes indeed, as we get pulled into another fight, unfortunately, Fina also starts off with almost no magic whatsoever, with the exception of some rather bloody nice silver magic, being as she is a Sylphite, which makes sense. So she's got Curia, meaning any status conditions she can sort out, and Risen too, meaning if someone goes down, she can get them back up on her feet. Though, unfortunately, yes, right now, the person most likely to go down by far is Fina. So yeah, I would say as a starting point, given Fina is just leveling up nice and fast, picking up loads of will, etc., would be, yeah, let's get a bare minimum, Piri and Crystali. And there we go, step 1, she's got Crystali. And step 2, she also picks up Piri, though, ooh. Okay, Ika's giving Fina a run for her money, because at the same time, she just picked up Crystales, the next spell up, so more expensive, but a lot more cocking powerful. And perfect timing, just a tiny bit to the north of it, yes, that lovely sky coral, the Silver Moon Pit, which makes sense given we are literally under the Silver Moon right now. That's the moon Pirate Island exists under. So yes indeed, just a small handful of islands around this bit of the world are pirate and shrine, so deposits this large of silver moonstones are very hard to come by. Legend says silver moonstones hold the power of life, but the truth remains unknown. It's not that unknown. We've met one Sylphite, and she does have the ability to bring you back to life, so you know, it's a pretty solid rumour. Now that's probably about all we're going to get out of this region, so yes, let's just mosey over in this direction, back towards Sailor's Island, picking up a tiny bit more, you know, XP and magic experience on a route, lovely. And here we go, that's what we were after. Fina's now got, yes, Sacri and Weatherly. So okay, bare minimum, she can now do all the basic spells. Oh, if you were curious by the way, you know, what happens if you do try and go back to Valor at this point? Yes, the Valor Armada is now out in strength, meaning, as the compass is now warning me, yes, there are ships on patrol. If you want to engage in ship fights, you are welcome to do so. You can fight those Valoran ships, though. Okay, to be honest, I'm more interested in, yes, we've got ourselves, hang about over here. One secret Mirage Island, lovely. So sightings of Sailor's Island floating around mid-ocean. But in fact, it turns out it doesn't exist, so theory has it that light reflected off of Sailor's Island is creating a mirage of sorts. So, okay, that's nice to note. Just back up here, stay away from, yes, you if we can. Just a mosey past Valor if we feel like, you know, paying it a visit, but obviously, yes, the gate is now closed. We cannot get inside. Okay, Fina's probably now in a good enough shape to, you know, bare minimum contribute, so, right, while we're, you know, passing through this bit of the world, number 1, I've got Moonfish for you, Doc. So here we go, the tiny bird once again just gets bigger and bigger, and, seriously, by the end of the game, he's going to be a lot cocking larger. And here we go, I honestly can't remember the exact order you get what out of this bird, but bare minimum, yes, it generally is very, very good indeed. And number 1, okay, now that sounds sexy. And just keep putting additional food into the bird, there we flippy go, and already he's starting to, you know, definitely get a little bit on the larger side. Here comes even flipping more vomit for us. Marvellous. And that gets me the Gem of Fluidity. Again, just so many incredibly powerful items just come out of this bird. It's downright bloody weird, but on this occasion, no more backstory for us. So, the Flame Mantle is, yes, a dress crafted from extremely lightweight fabric. Though fascinatingly, yes, it's not showing up as an option for Ika or Fina, but both Vise and Drachma are willing to wear it. Okay, that might be a bug I've just run into, fascinating, but you know what, Vise, whatever makes you happy. I mean, it's pretty bloody good, so yes, we are putting it on. The gem of fluidity, however, is not quite so interesting as, yeah, that's a bit of defense, a bit of magic defense, and defense against stone. Like, you know, petrification. Which we've literally never run into so far, so maybe let's not worry about that too much. Oh, and here we flipping go. I was just stepping into, yes, Sailor's Island to turn in all those discoveries, and I'd completely forgotten we were literally about to run into, yes, a very important chappie related to that very thing, so are you that guy everyone's talking about? I heard you broke out of the Grand Fortress, good job. I'm sure you've heard of me during your travels. I'm Domingo, treasure hunter extraordinaire. And you've never heard of me, you say? Now, you don't need to be bashful. I know you're extraordinarily excited to meet the real Domingo. Nevertheless, I have given up on searching for lost treasure and have taken up a new quest. I now search the world for discoveries. In fact, I'm in the midst of my search for the fabled Topple Rock. So okay. All of a sudden, we've got competition. If we don't find discoveries fast enough, Domingo is going to find them first, and if he does, we're going to get paid a lot less. Still, speaking of which, we've got plenty to turn in right now, actually. And seriously, look at the amount of money we make, because yes, we went and found that tiny, slightly hidden area. The Sky Coral, a brand new discovery, and the Silver Moon Pit, almost too cocky grand. And Mirage Island, also apparently a big cocky deal. And if we want to make sure that, yes, we beat Domingo to Topple Rock, we can just buy a tiny bit of information. So it's near Maramba, the harbour town in the desert, should be pretty easy to find. So, okay, fair enough, we might look into that down the line. And speaking of Nazra, yes indeed, on the wanted list, just below the already defeated Baltor, Rupee of the Lasso clan. Bounty, 2,000 gold, a Nazra pirate who attacks non-Nazra airships. So, okay, this here is an example of, yes, an optional, much more difficult boss fight that was added into the GameCube version. So, right, just keep an eye out for him, perhaps. Oh, and speaking of cocking witch, as we try and leave, wait just a minute, I almost forgot. This came here addressed to you. You received a black spot, and yes, I feel like that's not good news for a pirate. It's a message from the Angel of Death. Sounds like you're in trouble, better watch your back out there. So, yes indeed, we have most definitely made yet another cocking enemy. A note written in red ink on jet black paper. I await you west of Sailor's Island, Piastol, and okay, I was thinking, yes, it was probably about time that Piastol made her first appearance. Okay, so up to now, you know, the fights haven't been too difficult really, it's all been quite manageable if you just understand the basics of the game. That's about to cocking change. In which case, yes, let's just, you know, mosey into the general goods store, make sure we got ourselves plenty of cocking medicine, and, oh blimey. Apparently, the shopkeepers are starting to recognise me, and my name is now Vise the Determined. I mean, it's not great, but it's much better than Vise the Blue Rogue, I'll give you that. So yeah, I'll take a handful of healing crystals, just for safety. And I'll also take, yes, a quick look inside the ship shop, because last time we were here, the lad did say he didn't have any inventory, and I'm pretty sure at this point in the game, here we flipping go, we can now actually buy new stuff for our ship. Including ship accessories, giving us more defense, more quick, more dodge, you know what? They don't cost much, I'm happy to install all of them, given we've got literally nothing else to plug in. And yes, we can replace our main cannons with standard cannons, which are apparently a tiny bit better. Good. And on top of that, one 3-inch cannon. So, okay. The advantage to this thing is, yes, it's a secondary cannon, meaning you can fire it across multiple rounds. And as a result, you can concentrate more fire into the critical rounds. So, oh yeah, having one of these, definitely a good idea. And finally, bloody hell, are we most definitely resting the night here in the hotel. And, okay, everyone knows my name now. This is delightful. No discount though, obviously he still charges 60 gold a night, dear flippin' dear. Oh, and you know what? That is true. We are swimming in moonberries, so Fina, you can have some super moves, because naturally you've got your own as well. So here we go. Fina calls upon the silver moon and blesses her allies with regeneration. Basically just a tiny bit of health coming back each turn. And sure, why not? Let's get you your second ability too. So the power of the silver moon damages an enemy and possibly petrifies them. And honestly, the damage is like insignificant, but the petrification, if you can get it off, that's bloody good. And go on, Drachma can have one too, because his second ability is actually pretty bloody nice. So here we go, Spirit Charge. Drachma focuses inward, doubling his spirit points and defending against attacks. So basically, yes, it's a guard and a double focus all in one go, and it costs nothing to do. So if you've got nothing for Drachma to do that turn, if you're just going to guard anyway, you may as well do this because it literally gets you more spirits. And with that done, right, I'm going to regret this, but that note did say, come to the west of Sailor's Island. So that's precisely what we're going to do. Bloody hell, this is going to be, yes, a fairly major step up over anything we've seen before. Here we go, black ship, purple sails. This strikes me as precisely what we're looking for, though. Why precisely you would like, go and track down the Angel of Death after she summons you, I don't really know. Like, that's the sort of person you don't go and track down. Instead, you run away from and never bloody meet. But, okay. Vice is apparently up for the challenge. Let's see what we flippy got. And yes, you are correct. You've been quite the popular air pirate around these parts lately, However, I cannot sit idly by while air pirates fly the skies freely and do as they please. My name is Piastol, I'm a bounty hunter, and I specialise in finishing off air pirates. I'm feared amongst even the most hardened air pirates. They have dubbed me the Angel of Death. And the Angel has come for you, Vice. And wow, imagine that, we've actually become famous enough to have real bounty hunters coming after us. And grow up, Vice, this is not a cocky good thing, especially when they're called the Angel of Death. You seem confident. Maybe you truly are as strong as they say. I suppose this is why you've been able to stand toe-to-toe with Valor. However, you are still just an air pirate. I'll send you and your mangy crew to the bottom of the clouds. And here we flipping go. It's time for our first fight against Piastol, and okay. Bare minimum. With 4 people on board, we've now got 6 spirit per turn, which is pretty bloody good. And just like we were learning about last episode, yes, many tough bosses have, the odd character to help them out. On this occasion, she's got a dog called a Deathhound with her, and as that's, the support character, it's probably best that they go down first. So, here's my starting move. Vice stays on red, which is super effective against these guys, and just starts wailing on the Deathhound. I want to take it off the field as fast as possible. Ica, meanwhile, is going to, yes, for the time being, focus on buffing up Vice. Now, Fina, given her magic starting to get somewhere, is going to crack out the electric box. So yeah, we're going to fire electricity at the Deathhound, because electricity is also pretty effective at dealing with green. So we're going to crack that open, and yes, Drachma can also just focus fire over on the dog right here. Though the real threat is Piastol. Speaking of which, she's opening up with Weatherly. We're not that close together, so okay. Light tap to kick us off. She is going to be using magic, and he's going to be using Noxie. Right, so that's a poison spell. And right, it hits Ica. Probably poison. So yes, it does. That's fine. Fina can sort that out. So, okay. Good start there, and you are poisoned right back because the Assassin's Blade can do that. That's the first time we've seen it. So, actually, conveniently, you guys are kind of never mind because you're not using Electri. That's Fina. Okay. Vice is now a fair bit stronger. Here comes the Electri box, which should do some good damage. 146. Tiny bit underwhelming, I'll admit, but okay. We're doing some good hits to you. There's a counter. Everything's going to be fine. You're taking damage. The dog should really be taking... there we go. The dog's taking damage too. So, okay. Not bad as a starting point. Vice, given you got the Increm on you, you can start attacking this chappy. Lovely. Though that does mean, yes, we probably don't have enough, magic for Fina to be doing any sort of, poison healing. Honestly, that's okay. I'm just going to use a basic Sacri on Ica just to keep her going. The bigger concern is, yes, if Fina comes under attack. You know what? How about the Piri box? Try the Piri box. That's pretty good. And yeah, for the time being, just stay on the Death Hound. So, yeah, that's why we're taking out the damn Death Hound first, because it's going to try and heal its master. Though, fortunately, for the time being, oh, blimey, that's, yeah, that hurt a bit. That's fine. Fina's okay for the time being. She can take it, for now at least. Though, yes, obviously, if she does start going down, that might be a bit of a problem. So, okay, bring in a Cutlass Fury. That's good. That's really good. The dog is almost defeated there. And if we're lucky, actually, the Piribox should do something against a green enemy. And 85. Right, magic defense is still pretty solid against poor old Fina. But the dog is going to take another 90-odd. Okay, the dog goes down next turn. That's absolutely fine. In fact, in a perfect world, I would not mind maybe, yes, using Alpha Storm. It's not the most powerful ability, but it should be good enough to finish you off. As for Fina, I'm going to get her to guard just in case she comes under attack. And you... okay. Going for an attack as well, just to make sure that Death Hound goes down this turn. And if we're lucky, Fina should come up first. Oh no, we've got bigger problems. Okay. Tempest Dance. Her special ability. But luckily, she used it against, yes, flipping Drachma. Which is good. That's really good because, yeah, he's got the defense. But that would have one-shot definitely Fina, probably Ica. So, honestly, we were just very lucky right there. And you both in range. You are, though, bloody hell. She's blue element, so as a result, yeah, not going to take too much damage from Ica's fire magic. And in we go, tiny bit of an attack there. The counterattack is going to hurt, but not that much. Okay, the dog is now down, meaning, yes, we've now got nothing but Piastol. Because she's blue, green would work very nicely, so yeah, move in with the Cutlass Fury. Vise is in a pretty bloody good shape. What should we do here? I mean, purple would also work pretty nicely. So Crystales would not be the worst thing in the world, but I feel like, yeah, for safety, you should heal up Fina. Though honestly, yeah, if she gets hit by the Tempest Dance, she just dies. I'm not sure there's a way out of that for her. Still, speaking of Crystales, yeah, Fina does have that too. Let's give that a go, see if that does any better. Put you over to, yeah, green as well. Continue just hitting you. And Eterni, Silver Moon magic that can straight up one-shot an opponent if you get lucky, and it was a miss. Good. It's not accurate, but if that spell lands, it's an instant knockout under all circumstances. So, good. There's 800 damage. She has got a healthy health bar, but for the time being, we're holding on. Honestly, we were lucky she decided to go for Drachma. She could have done a lot worse. And here we go. Toss some better magic at you. Our first ever Crystales, a much bigger ice thing. 137. Not bad. Not bad at all for only 2 flipping spirits. And unfortunately, Drachma misses. Okay, Ica could be in a bit of danger too. But at this point, yeah, with the dog down, I'm hoping we're going to be okay. You take care of that. Ica, you just keep dropping the heals, actually. Yeah, 1 Sacre Crystal. Is that enough? Honestly, use Sacres. It's a bit more powerful. Just to make sure Drachma stays upright. And I'm going to go for a Lunar Glyph. Like, this is going to do no damage. But if you get lucky and, you know, get the petrification, bloody hell, that's good. So, uh-oh. Tempest Dance comes in and... oh, Ica, I've got a bad feeling about that. Yeah, Ica doesn't have, you know, the defense of Drachma. But bare minimum, 1 good crit. That's solid, and I think this is the first time we've heard the, yes, worrying you're losing music playing. So, oh, hang on. Okay, I just noticed, by the way, yes, we lost Ica before she got the heal off, meaning Drachma is still very vulnerable. Here comes Fina's Lunar Glyph. By the way, it's very fancy. It did cooking 1 damage. And it didn't get the petrification. Good. Good, good, good. I think we could still win anyway. For the simple reason that, yes, we've got enough firepower between Avise and Drachma to make it happen. But if I do that, yes, with Ica down, we're now gaining less spirits. I'm going to do a basic attack, and then I'm going to use a Risen to get Ica back up on her feet, while we just use regular attacks. Okay, that's a Weatherly. I think it's going for, yes, Fina, but she's got decent magic defense, and Weatherly is not that strong, so that's okay. That's fine. Normal attacks, but counters will cooking hurt, by the way. Yeah, definitely hurting a bit. Okay. We can now use our spells to get Ica back up on her feet, but not to full health. I think it's going to be half health. But at least now we get, you know, the spirit she contributes to the team back, and bloody hell, Drachma's in trouble. Like a Drachma being in trouble. That's cooking saying something. Okay. Visor, you've got the Incram. You focus on that. And honestly, Ica, if you go down again, you're going to go down again. Your priority is go first and heal Drachma. So, I feel like you should just guard, actually. That's going to be the best thing for you. So here we go. Gosh darn it, it's another Tempest Dance, and she is fast, and that's gonna be enough to take out Drachma. Bloody hell, Drachma is down. Like, Drachma has never... Where's that crystal going, Ica? Okay, she redirected it to herself, because why not, I suppose? Okay. This is fine. It's under control. Okay, we have got ourselves no problems here. Everything's going to be fine. Just go for a regular attack. And yes, Ica, what are you going to do? At this point, what can you do? I mean, you could Delta Shield in case she's going to Weatherly. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. But then again, a Weatherly is not the concern. But then she does have a tourney. Yeah, you Delta Shield. And you... get, yes, Drachma back up on his feet. Because honestly, even at half health, he can probably survive, yes, 1 lovely, sexy Tempest Dance. So, this is all fine, though I was... Oh, cocking how she's doing it again. I think Vice can take that. Just. Only cocking just. But yes, he can. Okay, the problem is... Right, that's a miss. We're getting Drachma back up. Cocking hell. Plenty of... I forgot that Delta Shield defends you against your own magic. Oh, that's a problem, actually. Okay, we might, just might, be able to pull this off anyway. No more Delta Shield, that kind of screwed us. Use the Sacres on Vise. We need at least 1 frontliner still alive. And you, yes, get flipping a Drachma up, and I mean it this time. Okay, this is all good to be... Okay, now she's doing nothing but cocking Tempest Dance. Cock me, she just survived that. What the absolute cocking hell. Okay. Vise is okay. The team is about to be all up on its feet. Just please don't counterattack. Okay, she must have a good agility stat because she's counterattacking a lot. But the team is about to be up on its feet. Like, just. How did you miss Risen? Bloody hell, I didn't even know that was a thing. But, like, somehow, apparently, Risen can miss. I did not know that. Okay. She's almost dead. The best thing we can do is probably just wail on her. But by the looks of it, her magic defense is ridiculous. So there's no point using, yes, any magic. Though, actually, you know what? There might be. There might just be. You, as Sacres... yourself. Okay, Fina's going to go down whatever. Well, actually, if she guarded, maybe she could take it. But what's the point of keeping Fina alive? Okay, we're getting Crystales. I think 1 attack and 1 Crystales can finish Piastol this round. And cock me, she is just not letting up today. Right, well, that's Fina down. Sorry about that, Fina. Right, so Fina's unconscious too, because Piastol is, yes, getting more and more angry as her health gets lower and lower. But... cock me. Right, say hello to the fights that were added in the GameCube version. You can tell which ones they are because they're cocking vicious. And unfortunately, yes, you only get the XP if you were awake at the end of the fight, meaning poor Fina and poor Drachma do not get the XP, which is a real cocking shame, because Fina especially would have really benefited from it. And how could this be? How could I lose to a lowly air pirate? And I'm sorry, but I'm a tad too young to die just yet. Come back in 50 or 60 years, maybe I'll be ready to keel over by then. But in the meantime, we're going to continue sailing, and I think it's time for you to get back your own ship. And indeed, Piastol is not delighted about this, and it turns out, yes, she's got more personal business with us than we originally thought. And that scar, the one on your cheek, and your goggles. It can't be. No, I'd recognise you anywhere. It is you. As I've told you, I'm known across the skies as the Angel of Death. And I swear upon that cursed name that I will hunt you down and finish you off. I will find you again, and your deaths I shall bring. Until then, I will let you live. However, the next time we meet, it will be the end of you. So okay. It would appear the Angel of Death recognises us, but Vise doesn't seem to recognise her. So, right, another mystery. We'll be visiting another time, and... oh, poor Fina. She could really have done with, like, you know, that 3,000 odd XP. Right, one quick trip back to the hotel, because, yes, poor Fina and Drachma most definitely needed a bit of a night off, and then... okay. I'd say that's enough business around, you know, this bit of the world. Yes, indeed. I think it's time for us to mosey in this direction and try and locate that city that was mentioned to us in the Sailors Guild, Maramba. Here we go, just a mosey towards the southeast. I'm sure you know there were mentions of islands, ports, deserts, etc, etc. And there we go. The red moon is probably, you know, an excellent sign we're heading in the right direction. And here we flipping go. It would appear we have reached, well, at least the correct airspace. And wow, there's nothing here but sand. So this is a desert. I've heard sailors talk about them before, but it's my first time actually seeing one. Now that you mention it, I've heard some sailors talking about them too. Okay, this is a really cocking weird thing that Skies of Arcadia does. Every time you go to a new continent, I could basically tell you some tall tales she's heard about the local area. And it's always accompanied by this style of illustration. I have no idea why. Every time you go to a new continent, I can decide to, yes, make up a new ridiculous tale about some terrible thing that might happen to you there. But don't worry, I'm sure our hair is not going to catch fire because it's too hot. Don't come crying to me when your head bursts into flames. That glass eye patch you wear will intensify the sun's rays and fry your brain. I like Aika. Aika's great. So yes, indeed, it's just a story she heard a long time ago that she happens to enjoy. And the moonstones that fall from the red moon give off a great deal of heat. It's too hot for most plants to survive. Because of this, the lands of Nazra have been reduced to a barren wasteland. I see, there's not much down there besides sand and rock. The red moon crystal should probably be hidden somewhere in the deserts. And that's right. It's buried deep within the ancient temple of Pirin. An ancient temple, and I bet there's all kinds of treasure in there. Maybe some gold and gems and magic stuff and nice clothes and additional stuff too. If we find a bunch of treasure, we'll be rich, we can buy whatever we want. What's the first thing you'd buy, Fina? Yes, indeed, another thing to add to the list of things that Fina has never heard of before, capitalism. Fina has no idea what buying or selling is, despite the fact she's been travelling with us when we've been doing buying and selling. I'm terribly sorry, I've never seen the rest of the world before, and yes indeed, whatever Fina's upbringing was like precisely, it certainly seems to have been a bit different to ours. Anyway, that's enough of that, so let's just mosey over in this direction, and you know what? That there looks like a town to me. Maramba, perfect. And yes indeed, straight away we have got ourselves a lovely new style of architecture, everything's a different colour, and that's what's lovely about this game. Every civilization under every moon is so very, very different, so yes indeed. This is Maramba, and as we were warned, it's cocking hot. And possibly more of a concern though, where's Drachma? And unfortunately, yes, the boat appears to be leaving. And Captain, where the cock are you going precisely? And this is where we part company. I've got my own mission to worry about. I've got to find Rachnam. And hang on a cocking second, what are we supposed to do? We're in the middle of a desert without a ship. How are we supposed to continue our mission? And that's not my concern. I've got no interest in crystals or temples. I have to find Rachnam. I can't waste any more time babysitting. And basically, Drachma's cocking off again. This isn't even the first time he stranded us this week. So, okay, we've got to stop relying on Drachma. He is not a good, reliable friend. And as a result, yes indeed. Never mind the temple, and now we can't even leave this city. For the time being, we're trapped here. Well, we've got no choice then. We've just got to explore Maramba. Maybe we'll find someone else who can help us out. Someone who doesn't cocking strand us every cocking 5 minutes, Drachma. Still, it's not all bad because yes, Maramba is a new city, and a new city means, you know, new shops and new items and all the rest of it. So, straight down here by the docks in this bit of the world, we've got ourselves, yes, one explorer's guild and a ship store as well. Though hilariously, yes, for the time being, once again, we don't have our own ship, so maybe we'll come back to you later. Oh, and apparently thanks to beating Piastol, I've been promoted to Vice the Respected. I mean, I'm gonna be honest right now, I don't feel particularly respected at the moment. Like, one of my crew just marooned me. A cocking gan. Right, mosey upstairs from the port and into Maramba proper, because, yes indeed, we've got to find ourselves someone else who can help us out. Someone, you know, a tiny bit more reliable and... oh, I'd forgotten about you guys. You guys are magnificent. Say hello to the Darbu. They're like gigantic pink velociraptor camels, and I love them. They're just the cocking best. And also, okay, I can't help but notice there's a chest on the roof of this here building, so I know it's not like mine or anything, it probably belongs to someone, but basically, screw that noise, we're going after it just straight through your bedroom, etc, etc, and here we go, mine and now, don't forget the charm while we're passing by, lovely, and, okay, magic droplets, beautiful. Though yes, I just do enjoy how distinct all the architecture is in every bit of the world, so on this occasion, yeah, because of the heat and lack of any rain, there's basically wide open skylights in all the buildings. And on this occasion, there's literally a tree growing out of this place, which I find delightful. And rather beautifully, yes indeed. Those lovely Darbu are not just for, you know, show. You get to ride around on one yourself. In fact, if you want to go from, yes, one bit of the town to the next, that's your only way to travel. Because, yes, the desert sands between the two bits of town are too hot to walk on. So there we go, Darbu stands are marked with red poles, and now we get to ride around on this lovely, gigantic monstrosity. I love him, he's great. Let's just mosey around this way over here, because we've got more rooftop looting to do yet, thank you. Here we flipping go. Just hop off right in this direction. Magnificent. Help myself to one Slipara box. So, right, I'm pretty sure, yes, that is putting your enemies to sleep in a box. Not bad at all, though. Hang on. I just heard the chirp of moonfish. There we go. I almost missed one of you. Hang on, where are you, buddy? There we go. Grab you at the same time. Magnificent. Oh, better and better. Just keep looting around in all the houses. One Nazra Combat Man. I think this one is... yes, this one you can only access by going up to this house here with the lovely chappie via a Darbu and then going downstairs because the front door is locked. But that's not gonna stop Vice, damn it. Oh, and I tell you what, that's pretty damn good for Fina because that armor boosts will. Only by a tiny amount, but still, every little helps. Because, blimey, even though she's 7 levels behind, yeah, Fina's will is rapidly catching up to Ica's. And yes, while I'm passing by, never say no to a new store, because generally a new store in a new town is going to have much better stuff than you've ever seen before. Here we go, one new flipping sword for Vise loses the ability to poison, but honestly that triggered like once the entire time we were using our previous assassin blade, so that's fine. And yes, Ica can have the Nazarene mail, that's a-okay too, that's lovely, just slap that on you. Everyone else I think is fine for the time being. And then yes, just around the corner in the general goods store, which if I'm remembering correctly is... oh yes, it's this guy. This guy's a star. I love the general storekeeper in Nazra. He's fantastic. So, yes indeed. I don't know what he's doing, whether he's got, you know, some wild bunny ears going on or if he's just wearing a really fun hat, but I love this guy. He's magnificent. So, oh, here we flipping go. I knew it was just a matter of time. So, right. The Glyph of Might and the Glyph of Speed. Basically, what we're looking at right here is the spell Increm and the spell Quicker, but in item form. One use only, unfortunately, so, you know, you will get through them fast, but honestly, the ability to use Increm without having to sacrifice, you know, for special, oh yeah, every cocking time. I'm buying like 20 of them right now. And finally, if you leave, he just slams his head on the counter for no well-explained reason, but I love him anyway. Right, and with my shopping done, just a mosey back on my lovely Velociraptor camel and use him to cross from one side of town to the other. Marvellous, because, yes indeed, without one of these, you're simply not allowed to cross the town. I also do deeply appreciate this child right here, who has got, yes, a tiny toy Dabu on a string that he pulls round with him. That's just lovely. And on top of that, yes, what we've got in this bit of the world is, number one, a fortune teller. Hello there, Khalifa, seer of the Red Moon. So okay, how about we get our fortune told by you? And aha, the Red Moon has spoken. To the east of here lies a temple in which a sacred red jewel lies buried in the hot sands. I mean, you've got to give her. That feels like, you know, a very relevant and specific prophecy. Like, this woman's good at her damn job. And sadly, for the time being, yes, I can't actually go and seek my fate because, yes, once again, we're kind of lacking a ship. And one more kind of cool secret as well, which is, yes, on this side of town, the well has dried up. Meaning as a result of that, you can actually climb down into it and, there is a surprisingly complicated maze down here. Mainly complicated by the fact that, yes, it's that old video game classic, doors that have multiple different positions. Meaning, yes, you've got to, like, find multiple switches and put all of them into the correct position if you want to go in a particular direction. And, seriously, this one I can never quite get my head around. I always get horrendously, hopelessly lost. Still, for the time being, and yes, as a good starting point, we just get to mosey up over here into an old ruin on the other side of town, getting me yet another moonberry. I am swimming in moonberries, game. I'm fine, don't worry about it. Instead, just go back underground and start pushing buttons and, yes, the way starts opening and closing in various different ways because there are various different switches and, okay, I'm not even going to pretend I know how to actually solve this, though, okay, bare minimum, I feel better that, yes, we've now got a really good arm for Drachma, who's no longer cocking here. So basically, screw Drachma, he doesn't deserve this arm. There's another chest we can't get access to, so okay. Push that button. Does that mean I can now... No, I can't loop around the long way to get to that, because that door's now closed, meaning the only way to go is in this direction. So you're now closed, but hang on. If I push you, does that get me back to the start so I can loop around to... Seriously, this maze always cocky gets me, though... How I got my head around it. Bloody hell, on this occasion I did. I did actually figure it out. It's all fine. Getting me... Well, we've already got one of those game. We already established it wasn't very good. And with all that done, that leaves us with, yes, just one building in all of flipping town. But thankfully, it's the tavern. And you know what? This is an RPG, so I feel like, you know, if there's going to be one person and one place who's going to be able to point me in the right direction, it's a barkeeper at a tavern. So, yes indeed, having made our way to Maramba, how about we call it a part there? But next time, well okay, we know where the flipping temple is and we've now been told by the fortune teller we just need to go due east from our current location. The problem is that we don't actually have a ship, so join me next time as we try and figure out how we might beg, borrow or steal one. Hopefully you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Skies of Arcadia. Thank you very much, and goodbye. If we just hide the bodies, nobody needs to know about this. Yes! My stupid plan has worked! It turns out I'm a genius! The giant rat scorpion is not gone! Oh, hang on, there's more yet though, I'm still being very shocked. Guys, where's the NCR? Nobody needs to know.